and what are the different forms of federalism. We have seen all these things in previous session. Today in this session we are going to talk about unitary and federal form of government, and the most important topic here, decentralization. Okay, so we are going to talk about decentralization. We will see when decentralization was introduced and when it was given the constitutional status. Then what are the procedures of the decentralization? We will discuss all these things today's session. Okay, and one of the remaining topic of the last session is about the division of powers. Okay, division of powers. So all these things we will discuss over here today. So this is going to be very crucial and very important for you all. Stay with me and watch the video. It will be very interesting and very easy for you all to get. So see here. Firstly, the first point is unitary and the federal form of government. So unitary form of government stands for the country having the central government only. Okay, means such a country which have only the central government is known as unitary form of government. एक ऐसा देश जहाँ पर सिर्फ और सिर्फ क्या हो, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट हो, उसके अलावा कोई दूसरी सरकार ना हो, उसको हम यूनिटरी फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट बोलते हैं. और सिंपली यू कैन से when the power is centered in the hands of central government only, then it is known as the unitary form of government. ओके, क्या हमने बताया आपको कि सेंट्रल यूनिटरी फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट वो होता है जब जो भी सारी शक्ति होती है, देश की शासन करने की शक्ति होती है, उसको हम सिर्फ और सिर्फ केंद्र सरकार के हाथ में रखते हैं, उस पर सेंटर करके रखा जाता है, तो उसको हम बोलते हैं कि बस यूनिटरी फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट है. ओके, इन यूनिटरी फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट the whole responsibility of making administration over the country is of central government, and it is liable to make the rules and regulation for the country. Okay, next thing is central government for its easiness for making the administration easier, sometimes it creates its subordinates. Okay, central government creates its subordinate, but if you will see here in the federal form of government, state government already exists, means the subordinate of the central government exists already and they have the proper share of power. Here we are talking about the central government creates its subordinate. यहाँ पर आपको ये बताया गया जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट होती है वो क्या करती है, अपने सबऑर्डिनेट को क्रिएट करती है. ओके, ये क्रिएट करती है. और यहाँ पर आपको बताया गया स्टेट गवर्नमेंट और द लोकल गवर्नमेंट एग्जिस्ट ऑलरेडी एंड दे हैव द प्रॉपर शेयर ऑफ पावर. द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट दैट इज द प्रॉपर शेयर ऑफ पावर. यहाँ पर क्या होता है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के पास में उसका अपना एक हिस्सा होता है शक्ति में, उसके पास भी कुछ पावर्स होती हैं रूल्स रेगुलेशंस की. ठीक है, वो अपने यहाँ पर अपनी टेरिटरी में अपने आप में सॉवरेन होता है. ओके, so this is the concept of the federal form of government and state central form of unitary form of government. Okay, once more, federal form of government stands for power is shared among the central government and state government. Okay, power is shared, and here in power is centered in the hands of the central government only. Here you will see in unitary form of government, central government creates its subordinate like state government and local government. But if you will see in the federal form of government, the state government already exists, having the proper share or permanent share of power. Okay, examples of unitary form of government are Italy, Japan, France in contemporary world. Okay, and here the examples of federal form of governments are Australia, USA, India. Okay, many of the countries, Belgium, Spain. So these countries are in federal in nature. Okay, having the federal structure of the government administration. One more thing, the general knowledge I want to tell you that approximately 25 countries of the world having 40% of the population have accepted the federal form of government. I have written over here, you can mention it. Okay, approximately 40% of the world's population, that is in 25 countries of the world, have the federal structure of the government. Okay, so federal structure of the government stands like this. See here, there will be a central government at the apex, then after there will be the state government, and then after that there will be local government, or you can say the district government. Is that clear? So this is the provision of federal structure of the government. Here if we erase this for some time, state government is independent of central government. Okay, what is the difference between the unitary and federal form of government? In federal form of government, state government is independent of central government, but in unitary form of government, state government is not independent, it have to follow the rules or the regulations made by the unitary form of government, or you can say it have not much power in the administration. Okay. Next thing, in federal form of government, states also have their constitution, states also have their flags, states also have their sovereignties, and states also have their citizenship, and they are independent of central government once more. Okay, क्या क्या बताया हमने? फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट में स्टेट के पास में अपना संविधान होता है, उनकी अपनी नागरिकता होती है, उनका अपना झंडा होता है, और वो बिल्कुल ही केंद्रीय सरकार से मुक्त होते हैं, स्वतंत्र होते हैं, किसी भी प्रकार की बाध्यता उन पर नहीं आ सकती है। बात समझ में आए सभी? So now we will talk about the division of power in India. Okay, you may be asked in the board examination that how federalism is practiced in India. Okay, then you will clarify by giving such examples, because as I have told you, the provisions of the federal government is having the separate constitution, having the dual citizenship, having the flag, and independent of central government. Okay, this is the provision of federal form of government. Okay, so some of the philosophers, some of the politicians said that India is semi-federal or quasi-federal in nature. Okay, India क्या है? नेचर में quasi-federal है या फिर semi-federal है. Okay, so what is the concept of semi-federal or quasi-federal? See here, semi-federal, quasi-federal means there is the provision of having central government and state government, that is the provision of federal form of government. Okay, in India there exists the central government, there exists the state government as well, there is a provision of local governments also. Is that clear? Then after, the next step, that is states are not independent of the central government. Okay, states are not independent of central government, they have to work under the central government's authority. Okay, means even they have their own legislature and they have the rule making power, but up to a limit, up to a certain limit they are provided such powers, because Parliament of India have the power to make changes in the rules and regulations over the states. Okay, or Parliament can also impose any rules or regulation over the state. So in India, the provision of having federal form of government, but it is not a complete federal government. भारत में क्या है, सारी व्यवस्थाएं लागू की गई हैं जो भी फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट की होनी चाहिए. ठीक है, फेडरलिज्म की जो भी व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए वो सब कुछ यहाँ पर है. बट दिक्कत क्या है, यहाँ पर एक ही संविधान है, वो भारतीय संविधान है. राज्यों का कोई अपना संविधान नहीं है, ना तो उनकी कोई अपनी नागरिकता है. एक केस था पहले, देयर वाज ए केस, कैन यू टेल मी? यस, it was the case according to Jammu and Kashmir, because by the provision of article number 370 of the constitution there was a provision of having a special state of Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir have the had the separate constitution and flag as well. Okay, now this provision has been abolished, as you all know, by the Constitutional Amendment Act 370 and 35, both has been abolished now. Okay, so in India now the federal form of federalism exists, but up to a certain limit. So philosophers or the politicians said that, political philosophers said that India is quasi-federal in nature. Now the turns come that division of power, one of the most important topic of the federalism. Okay, you know, in federalism there is also the division of power. So in India there is also division of power. भारत में जिस तरह से प्रसंग में किसी भी फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट में डिवीजन ऑफ पावर होता है, सेम तरीके से यहाँ पर भी डिवीजन ऑफ पावर है. मैं पहले आपको ये बता दूँ, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वांट टू टेल यू अबाउट दिस थिंग. ओके, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वांट टू टेल यू अबाउट डिवीजन ऑफ पावर्स, हाउ इन इंडिया फेडरलिज्म इज इंश्योर्ड. ओके, सो सी हियर, division of power. Okay, for this purpose, in the preface I have told you earlier when I was giving you the intro of this chapter that there is the provision of three lists that we call the union list, okay, state list and the concurrent list. Is that clear? Concurrent list. So these are the list having such subject which are being ruled or administered by the union government, state government. ओके इनका मतलब क्या हुआ, इन सब्जेक्ट में, इन लिस्ट में ऐसे सब्जेक्ट हैं जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के हाथ में रहेंगे, जिनके पावर्स स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के हाथ में रहेंगी, या फिर some of the subject will be there that will be of common interest of both state and national government or central government, and they both will be liable for making the rules and regulation regarding to those topics. Is that clear? So see here, you may write over here in union list that the matters that are of national importance are kept under the union list. Okay, you may write over here the matters which are of national importance, okay, national importance are kept under the union list. Okay, union list. Clear है? Examples of this list are finance, what? Finance, currency, foreign affairs, defense, nuclear power. Okay, etc. There are a lot of topics which are kept under the union list. Now the turns come of the state list. The matters that are of state importance, the matters that are of state importance are kept under state list. State list. Is that clear? What I have told you? State list is such list in which the matters of the state importance are kept. For example, you may write over here agriculture. Okay, agriculture, police, trade, commerce, etc. Okay, these are the subject of state importance, so these are kept under the state list. Now the last, that is the concurrent list over here. If you have written it, then I should proceed forward. Okay, नोट डाउन दिस. एक बार इसको हिंदी में समझ लीजिए. हिंदी में इनका मतलब ये हुआ, ऐसे सभी विषय जो राष्ट्रीय स्तर के महत्व के होते हैं, राष्ट्र स्तर के महत्व के होते हैं, उनको हम, या फिर केंद्रीय स्तर के होते हैं, उनको हम केंद्रीय लिस्ट में या केंद्र सूची में रखते हैं. ठीक, केंद्र सूची के विषय कौन कौन से? फाइनेंस, करेंसी, फॉरेन अफेयर्स, डिफेंस, न्यूक्लियर. अच्छा, आप ये सोच सकते हैं कभी, कैन यू थिंक अबाउट इट दैट व्हाई करेंसी इज बीइंग केप्ट अंडर द union list? Yes, think out. If it will be the matter of state, then all the states have the different currencies. Okay, if currency would be the matter of state, then all the state will have the currencies of different types. Okay, so in this way, in India, we have to face a problem of having different currencies and measurements. Okay, so there is a provision and the currency has been kept under the union list. There will be the single currency, and it will be the rupees, or that we say INR. Okay, now the next thing, that is the concurrent list. Some matters which are of common interest. Okay, some of the subject which are of common interest are kept under the concurrent list. Okay, and the provision of concurrent list is very much important, and it has been taken from the Constitution of Australia. Okay, it has been taken from where? Constitution of Australia. You know, our constitution has inherited many of the special provisions from the different countries, different constitution of the world.
हमारे संविधान में बहुत सारे जो विशेष प्रावधान हैं उनको विश्व के किसी दूसरे देश तमाम देशों के दूसरे संविधानों से लिया गया है, उनके संविधानों से उसको इनहेरिट किया गया है। ठीक है। नाउ द टर्म्स कम ऑफ द कंकरेंट लिस्ट, यू मे राइट ओवर हियर द सब्जेक्ट ऑफ द कॉमन इंटरेस्ट और कॉमन इंपॉर्टेंस आर केप्ट अंडर द कंकरेंट लिस्ट। ओके, द सब्जेक्ट विच आर ऑफ कॉमन इंपॉर्टेंस, बात समझ में आ रही है सबको? Yes, the subject which are of common importance, the subjects which are of common interest are kept under concurrent list. Example, forest. Okay, education, it is, you may write over here. Okay, the union government, state government, both are liable to make the development of education to increase the forest in India. Okay, and the union list, central government is liable to make the rules for the union list, state government is liable to make the rules for the state list. Okay, now the last topic of this chapter that is of much importance is the decentralization. Okay, is decentralization. So decentralization क्या है, इसके बारे में क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में खूब सारा पूछा गया है. Many time it has been asked in the examination directly that what do you understand by the process of decentralization, what were the steps taken to ensure decentralization in India, or when decentralization was made constitutional in India. Okay, or the question may be asked in the examination that what were the provisions of 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act when it was implemented, how the decentralization is better or bad. Okay, means what are the demerits and merits of the decentralization. Different types of questions are being asked in the examination from this topic. Okay, so let's have a look over the process of decentralization and then after we will see when it was made constitutional. Okay, see here, decentralization means taking powers from central government and give it to the local government. Taking powers from central government and give it to local government. Once more, decentralization means giving the power to the local government from the central government. ओके, क्या मतलब हुआ इसका? डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन का मतलब क्या है? विकेंद्रीकरण. विकेंद्रीकरण का मतलब क्या होता है? देखिए, इसका हिंदी होती है, इसकी हिंदी होती है विकेंद्रीकरण. विकेंद्रीकरण का मतलब क्या? केंद्र से दूर हो जाना. केंद्र से दूर होने का मतलब क्या होना? जो भी केंद्र के पास शक्तियां हैं, केंद्र का मतलब कौन? केंद्रीय सरकार मीन्स सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. जो भी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास पावर है उनको क्या करना? दूसरी लोकल पावर को मीन्स लोकल गवर्नमेंट को दे देना. ओके, सो इन दिस वे यू मे डिफाइन द डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन एज द प्रोसेस ऑफ, write the definition, process of giving power to the local government, to local governments from central government, from central government is called decentralization, is called decentralization. Is that clear? क्या मतलब हुआ डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन का? वह प्रक्रिया जिसके तहत जो केंद्र सरकार की शक्ति होती है स्थानीय सरकारों को दे दी जाती है उसको हम विकेंद्रीकरण बोलते हैं. इज कॉल्ड डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन. क्लियर है? ऑल ऑफ यू गेट इट? Once more, make it learn. It is very important. Okay, decentralization is the process of giving power to the local government from central government. Is that clear? Now, the step taken to decentralize the power is Write the definition till then. Okay. Now the step I was telling you, steps taken to decentralize the power, it will be the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. Okay, 1992. My dear student, after completing the lecture of this topic, I will give you some general information, so that will be very important for you, so that you will have to wait for the video to complete. Okay, to the lecture be completed, and you will be given some of the important knowledge regarding to the constitution. Okay, here 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 was introduced. Okay, and according to this, the process of decentralization was started and it was made constitutional. Okay, and the process of this was the process of 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act was to give the constitutional status to the panchayats. Okay, we call it as the Panchayati Raj. What? Panchayati Raj. So this Constitutional Amendment Act, that is the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, gave the constitutional status to the Panchayati Raj Panchayati Raj. Okay, from there the panchayats were recognized as the constitutional body, and they were being started to given the financial aid by the state government and have some specific powers to make the some rules in their specific area. ओके, यहाँ से क्या हुआ, जब से ये 73वां संविधान संशोधन विधेयक 1992 पास कर दिया गया, वहाँ से जितनी भी पंचायतें थी सभी को क्या दिया गया, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल स्टेटस. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल स्टेटस मीन्स सभी को संवैधानिक दर्जा दिया गया. आपको पता होगा, आई हैव टोल्ड यू मेनी टाइम्स दैट इन इंडिया एवरीथिंग इज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, नथिंग कुड बी अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. आइदर यू कांट टेक अ सिंगल स्टेप अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. अगर आप एक कदम भी संविधान के विपरीत चलते हैं तो उस पर आपको कार्रवाई होती है आपके साथ में, और आप पर कार्रवाई होती है और आपको उसका परिणाम भुगतना होता है. सो इन इंडिया देयर इज नथिंग कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, ऑल द प्रोविजंस आर मेड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. सो फ्रॉम बाय 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, panchayats were recognized as the constitutional body and they were being given some powers to rule over their specific areas, and also being given the financial aid by the state government. Is that clear? And this process was started first of all from the declaration of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, PT Jawaharlal Nehru. I want to tell you here something more. देखिए, पंचायतों की जो व्यवस्था थी वो शुरू कहाँ से हुई. एक्चुअली महात्मा गांधी बिलीव्ड in the local government. He wanted to say that if there will be the development of village, then country will develop. क्या होगा, अगर गांव का विकास होगा तो फिर देश का भी विकास होगा. गांव का विकास कराने के लिए, to ensure the development of the village, it was necessary to provide some power to the local government so that they could make their rules for their welfare. Okay, they could make the rules for their welfare. So the dream of Mahatma Gandhi was ensured when Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru declared that there will be the panchayats in the country. Okay, so from there, on 2nd of October 1959, when on 2nd of October 1959, the process of Panchayati Raj was started as per declaration of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru from Panchayati Raj. Okay, was started from Nagaur district of Rajasthan. Nagaur district of Rajasthan. Is that clear? And the first time the state which started Panchayati Raj system was Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so this is the concept. But the panchayats were not given the constitutional status then. and the process of giving constitutional status to panchayats was started in year 1992 when this amendment act, that was the 73rd constitutional amendment act, was introduced and it was passed. Okay, by this amendment act at the time of PV Narasimha Rao, you have to be very clear. Okay, so see here, by this constitutional amendment act, the panchayats were given constitutional status. Okay, you have to remember it. Second point, the regular elections were started to be conducted. There was the provision of, you can write over here, the provision of regular election was started. Is that clear? Third point, there was the provision of reserved seats for the women. There was the provision of reserved constituencies, reserved seats, for women. Okay, for women, and it was of 33% or 1/3 of the total constituencies. Okay, 1/3 of total constituencies. Is that clear? And for this purpose, there was another section, that was the section number 9A of the constitution. In the constitution was introduced. Okay, and the provision of the panchayats was from article 243A to 243O. ओके, इसमें क्या हुआ, 243A से लेकर के 243O तक जो आर्टिकल है संविधान का, उसमें इनका प्रोविजन किया गया. कहाँ पर? संविधान के भाग 9A में, 9A में. ओके, so there was the provision of panchayats was made in the 9A section of the constitution from article 243A to 243O. Is that clear? Now coming towards the next topic. One more point you may write over here. It is regarding to the financial aid. Okay, what is it about? It is about the financial aid, and the panchayats were to be given financial aid by the state. Okay, means state government will give financial aid to the panchayat to ensure their proper working. Okay, so these were the provisions of the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, and it also gave the three tiers of the local government, and it was, you may see over here, the three tiers of the panchayats were like this. At the village level, village panchayat, that we call the gram panchayat. What? Gram panchayats. Okay, at the block level, nagar panchayat, in different states it is known by the different names. Okay, nagar panchayat. And at the district level it is known by the name Jila Parishad. What? Jila Parishad. Somewhere it is also known by the name Jila Panchayat. Jila Parishad और district council, नगर पंचायत, पंचायत समिति, इसको कहीं कहीं पर पंचायत समिति भी बोलते हैं. क्या बोलते हैं इनको? पंचायत समिति. और इनको विलेज पंचायत को ग्राम पंचायत, विलेज लेवल पर ग्राम पंचायत. So this was the provision made by the this Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. Okay, so all this was the topic about today's session. So now some of the remaining points